This is Emanuel Lasker, who until 1970 managed to earn $27,000 by winning tournaments in chess. Magnus Carlsen, on the other hand, has won close to $9.2 million. If we take inflation into account, Magnus still has earned more than 40 times what Lasker earned in his lifetime. This drastic change was partly thanks to Bobby Fischer, but also to a whole lot of other factors. Lasker might have won 27K, but he also had to physically attend every event, which is very costly and time-consuming. Technology saved chess players because not only did it allow for different categories of chess to flourish, but now grandmasters can just attend tournaments in the comfort of their home. The organizers also have more money to put into the prize instead of wasting it on unnecessary costs. So, more tournaments means more money. Very simple, but this does not explain that absurd difference in wealth, and this is where Bobby Fischer comes into play. Bobby Fischer had qualified for the 1972 World Championship and was pretty much sweeping through the matches, win after win, and immediately gained attention. During that time, USA and USSR were competing on literally everything, from going first to the moon to even games such as basketball or chess. But chess was on a completely different level. For the USSR, chess meant leadership and intellect. The Soviet Union was very proud of their chess skills, and their history with the game is honestly fascinating. United States, on the other hand, was not that interested in chess. The only reason it started getting popular was because Fischer could actually win the global tournament against the Soviets. And with the US giving more attention to chess, that also meant more money for the game. That is why when picking the location for the final, the bidding started at $100,000, which was crazy for chess because 2 years before this, the bidding was somewhere close to 20,000 rubles. But Fischer didn't stop there. When the bid went to $125,000, Fischer still refused to play the game. He knew that this game meant way more than just chess, and Fischer said that 125K is just not enough. Due to his refusal, FIDE was losing their mind. They thought this huge number was the maximum it could reach for chess, but they were wrong. Jim Slater, an investor from England, decided to double the prize money to 250K, and this was an offer Fischer just couldn't refuse. To put things into perspective, 250K back then would be worth about $1.8 million today, a record which still has not been broken. Fischer did accept the deal, but he made sure to scare them a little bit by almost not showing up at all. In the end, Fischer beat Boris Spassky for the title in 1972. But Fischer was not desperate for money. When asked to advertise a baby shampoo by a medical company for $1 million, he simply refused because he knew nothing of the risks. In 1975, someone offered $5 million for Fischer to play in their country, and he refused again. He also refused to defend his title and just disappeared from the public eye. Fischer was one of the most popular people during this time and accidentally started a movement, even though his effort was to mostly stop people from bothering him. That movement introduced big money into the game, and once the gate opens, it often is hard to close again. But with the disappearance of Fischer, it meant that there was an empty seat at the top, and that seat got taken by the new Soviet star Anatoly Karpov, which went on to win more than 160 tournaments throughout his career. Chess.com worked out the numbers, and it appears Karpov won $14.2 million if we adjust all his earnings based on inflation. But surprisingly, Karpov isn't the highest winner on this list. Instead, it is Garry Kasparov with 17 million. While Kasparov didn't win as many tournaments as Karpov, he still earned way more because he maintained a career for 22 years and the prizes kept getting better and better. But if we were to compare Magnus with Kasparov, we can see that Kasparov has earned almost double, but why exactly is that? Well, Magnus first won the World Championship in 2013, meaning his reign as the best player started at that time and has continued for about 10 years. We know that he resigned his title as world champion and is mostly focused on tournaments that take less time. Normally his earnings will also dip, but if we were to search for net worth, the answer would be totally different. Magnus Carlsen's net worth is estimated to be $50 million, while Kasparov is about $6 million. This is a shocking difference, but there is a good reason behind it. Magnus Carlsen has become a star of influence, just like Bobby Fischer did, but to a lesser extent. Sure, Kasparov did release a lot of books that were successful and earned him a lot, but back then Kasparov's influence was limited to chess. He did reach for more, but it was not that simple. Magnus, on the other hand, has had the influence of a celebrity ever since he was a child. At the age of 13, the media could not stop talking about him after his draw with Kasparov. His influence got bigger and bigger, and in today's world, that means a lot of money. A great example is the Play Magnus Group, a company owned by Magnus, which was sold to Chess.com for $80 million. That company got to that value using Magnus's online image, and that was just not possible during the time of Kasparov. While the big dogs like Kasparov and Magnus have earned a lot in prizes, the economy situation for the lesser skilled players has also changed a lot. Back then, if a GM was consistently in the top 10, their chess earnings would not be that sustainable. They were better off with a normal job, but prizes are so big now that even players close to 10th place also earn a very comfortable amount of money. For example, Magnus won Super United Croatia and went home with $40,000. The 10th place got almost $10K in earnings. The reality that chess pays almost nothing is slowly turning around, and some of it is partly thanks to the internet. Hikaru Nakamura might have never won a world championship, but he has made himself a great Twitch and YouTube career. He himself has admitted that he doesn't feel that much pressure anymore since his earnings now come mainly from his online business, and the results show that. Fabiano Caruana has become a professional podcaster who sometimes wins tournaments thanks to his prep. Even Levi Rozman, who is only an international master, has become one of the most popular chess channels on YouTube with multiple sources of income. Chess.com understood very early on how chess could be profitable. With their subscription and services, they've managed to almost dominate the chess online space to the point where they might be considered a monopoly after acquiring Play Magnus. Chess.com understood that a lot of people know chess as a game, but are not that interested in playing online. That is why they started to organize and broadcast multiple events to try to invite as many people as possible in chess. PogChamps, for example, was done by them during the pandemic, and it caused a huge boom of new players. But this is far from over. A few years ago, chess wasn't anywhere near the level that it is today, and it doesn't even compare to the 1970s. Chess is going to get more and more popular, and so will the prizes or the money involved in the game. We have never reached a point where chess players earned like sport players did, but that very well can change in the future.